What it is, homie, it's Josh with DepriveD Productions back in Unreal Engine 4 with the 19th blueprinting tutorial, and we're going to talk about material functions, and we're going to talk about macros. That's what we're going to talk about, and guys, I apologize for being gone so long. I'm working 2 jobs, and I'm working my balls off right now, post-COVID-19, whatever. But yeah, I'm getting back on here to show you all a couple things. Anyway, today we're going to talk about blueprint functions, just like we talked about material functions here recently. They're very similar. And then we're going to talk about macros too and exactly what you can do with them. But first, let's get started. Let's act like we're going to press a button, because hold the CTRL button scrolling here. Hold the letter T. Well, let's actually hold the letter Q and click, right click, press Q, and you'll find the little Q right there. So if you press the Q button, it would do something. Let's imagine we had a variable, and we created one here called health. All it is, it's a health. It's set to 100, and it's an integer. That's the only variable I've got, and it's already built. Like I said, you can real quick add one. You know how to do that. Add a variable, make sure it's set to an integer, name it health, set the value to 100, compile, and you're done. So let's say we wanted to take our health, set our health, and we wanted to subtract a little bit. We wanted to do it every time we press the Q key. Well, we could put the math here. But let's imagine we want to do it all over the place, bro. We're going to be putting it all kinds of different places, because you never know where it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? So what we're going to do is we're going to create a function instead. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click a little plus sign, and I'm going to name it change health. Yeah. So I got a little function named changed health, bro. And that's all it is. Now inside this function, I can still grab and I can set our health, right? What we're going to do is we're going to set our health. That's actually all we're going to do. But the question is, what are we going to do to it? Well, let's get the health, right? Let's do that. Let's get it. Let's drag a line out of this bad baby right here. Hit the subtract. Subtract the integer. We'll subtract it by 5. Okay, that's what we're doing. And then we need to clamp it, right, bro? You need to type in the word clamp. You see clamp integer. And we're going to clamp it between 0 and 100. No big deal there. And we'll plug it in. And then, if you want, you can type in the word return here and get yourself a return node. And that's the end of your function. And boom, you have your little function here. And there we go. And it's the same thing. Like I said, you could have done it here in the event graph. But now I can just grab change health, plug it in, and boom, that's it. It's like just a little box, bro. You can double click on it, and it opens up your function, and it opens up here in the next tab here, compile. And now instead of having to type these 4 little nodes out every time, I can literally just grab change health wherever I need it. Every time I press Q, every time this happens, whatever. Now it gets more interesting than that, and that's what's sweet. Let's double click back on change health, the function we created here. And if you click on the change health, the beginning here or the end, you can see that you have inputs and outputs, right? And it's actually, the inputs are going to be here, and the outputs are going to be here. Well, let's grab an output, okay? And let's name it new health, brah. New health, okay? Did I spell it right? Oh no, it doesn't matter. It's all right. It's going to be an integer, and I'm going to plug this into it like that, okay? So now this health that we have, the health variable that we have, is actually going into the output here. So if I compile it, and we go back to the event graph, bro, you're going to see that in our change health node here, there's a new health coming out, bro. So I've got that value. I've got that value now, because the health we did, the new health variable that we set in here, so it comes out of this node, this function we created. You can do the same thing, bro. Go back in here and go to the input. You could grab an input here, and you could say before health. If I spelled that right, I did. Nice. And let's say I didn't use health at all. I just plugged this in here. And I took whatever number this was, subtracted it by 5, clamped it, set it to health, and then sent it out. If you look now, it's going to be asking you what that's going to be, though. So now this function is going to need you to put in this value, because what's going to happen is whatever number you put here, let's say we put health there, which is like the same thing. Obviously, you wouldn't do that. But let's say you put the number 20 there, or whatever you did. It's going to take 20 or whatever, minus 5, clamp it, set it to that, and then give you that value here to toy with. So you can see what we did there, brah. Okay, you can have a little fun with that. I'm going to control C a bunch of times. I can't, so I'm literally just going to get out of here. I'm going to get rid of this input function, plug our health back in just like that, and there we go. But then that's how I would probably keep it. That's how I would make a subtract or add or subtract function. Oh, we got to get rid of that, bro. It's asking me for all that. But if I were to make the function to where it literally was subtracting or adding health or something like that, I'd probably do it like this with a function instead of just trying to type this. And sure, you'd be like, well, bro, I can just copy and paste it, bro. Wherever I want, whatever, you can do that if you want, bro. If you want to keep it organized, you want to be a little more clean, a little more tight, a little tight. You know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I mean when I say that word. Now let's talk about more stuff, okay? So we got our function here. Well, I want to talk to you about macros. I'll say, no, I want you to type in a for loop, okay? We've toyed with this bad baby before, okay? That's a for loop. Now the reason I'm showing you this is because this is a macro. And a macro is typically a math-based node. If I double click on the for loop, watch what happens. It opens up the for loop. And we're seeing what the macro looks like. You can see it has an input. You can see it's assigning something. It's got these things and branches and sequences and assigning something else and an output. And it's got these things that are named. Check it out. These are actually outputs that they had to create. You can do all this. And what you end up making, and it sets a second window here, because UE4 know how we do, bro. Because it know how we do. Let's go back. The point is the for loop was just created by UE4. And it should, obviously a for loop is a very powerful, useful node. But the point is we created by them, and they just created it as a macro and saved it into the system stuff. You know what I'm talking about? So they have it right here. Well, you can create your own, bro. So let's drag the for loop down here. I'm going to go to macro, okay? I'm going to create my own. I'm going to name it divide. Even though I'm going to do more than divide, I have a macro now named divide. Now I'm going to close this thing. We don't need it anymore. Let's go back to our event graph and let's drag in divide. Let's just drag it in. Now, as you can tell, divide doesn't have anything. Divide can't do anything. Divide is useless. Let's go to town on that. Let's go to the inputs. Well, it doesn't matter. And you don't have to click this. You have to click one of them. But either way, the input will always show up there and the output will always show up there. I just wanted to show you that. But this input is going to be an executable. And this output is going to be an executable. So basically, all that's done is do that. Now, let's name it. Let's name them in. Let's keep it simple because you're going to go in it and then you go come back out of it. You know what I'm talking about? You're going to go in and then you go come back out. Now, the point is we're going to compile that. We're going to go back and we got a little in and out. We got a little in and out divide, bro. You can't be afraid. Now, the point is I've got this now. And you're like, oh, nice. Okay, I can plug that in and keep going. But there's nothing happening. The point is, though, you've created your own little macro. You've got your own little node here, bro. You got your node, and you can start going to town with it. Well, let's say what we're going to do is we're going to have a number. We're going to add one more input to this bad baby, okay? And we're going to name it, let's do the plus sign, and let's type it in index, okay? And that's what we'll do. And that's going to be an integer, okay? We're going to make that an integer, okay? And then here, what we'll do is we'll do the same thing. Let's add another one, and let's make it an integer, and we'll name it out index, right? Out index. And again, we're just toying around. We're just having some fun. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this index, and we're going to divide. Oh, yeah. We're going to divide this integer by 2. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to plug it into this bad baby right here. And that's all. Let's imagine that's all we're going to do, even though you could go to town on it. We were just looking at the for loop, and you saw how that thing was nasty. All kind of stuff going on. Let's go back to the event graph. And you can see now what's going on is we could basically take our health that we got, divide it by 2, and then we have that value here. Sure, you could have literally just divided by 2, but let's imagine that this divide was getting a little nasty. What if we were taking the divide and then we had to add 50 to it. And then we had to get another divide node and divide this again by whatever number this already was. And then plug that in there. So let's say you got this crazy algorithm. That algorithm took place in here, even though it's called divide. And you'd probably call it divide plus divide or whatever you want. You can call it whatever you want. The point is, this all took place. I took whatever health I created out of this function I have, right? I got this function, and then I've got this thing. But instead of all this code, and then all this code, which is literally its own macro that we've created, which is our node, our own function, our own node, basically, I've got that. And there's my value. I took health. I took some health. I did some weird stuff with it. I always point at the screen, and y'all can't see that. But the point is, like, I'm taking the health. I did all my kind of weird stuff to it. I went in here to this divide node index. I created. I took it. I divided and added it and divided and had all kind of fun and should have named it something else. But then, boom, I've got this value. The whole point of this tutorial, guys, to show you guys is there's a way you can keep everything super clean by using Blueprint functions and Blueprint macros, and that's why I named it functions and macros. Is because that's exactly what we're toying with, and you could really go to town with these and keep yourself organized, especially if there's a macro, if there's a certain type of algorithm you're going to do a lot, dude, create a function, create a macro for it, kind of like the for loop. If you do it a lot, use the for loop a lot like me, go to town on it. If you're going to do this certain type of division a lot, make a macro or make a function. They're different. Like I said, the reason they're different is because the change health obviously has, if you go this, it's obviously going to force you, I guess is the word, to have like an execution wire, even though that's actually not 100% true, because what you could do is, if you can tell that this has a pure function. You see the word pure? If I click the word pure now and I compile and I go back to the event graph, you'll see that change health doesn't have an executable. Did you see what I just did there? I literally went back here. I went to our function, and if pure is selected, it's literally just taking this. That's all that's happening. It's running the code there. It's running the code right here. But the point is, now all it is this. Think about that. So there's so many crazy things you can do. And it gets crazier than that, dude. It gets crazier than that. Let's go back to the change health. Let's click on any of these. Make sure it's not pure anymore. Make sure it's not pure. Pure means if it's pure, it doesn't need the execution wires, as you can tell. So let's plug this back in the way it's supposed to be. This needs to be plugged in here, right? We had it here. Oh, my bad. Sorry, pressed in here. And then this went into here, even though we're just toying around. You can go into the divide now, right? And let's say we get rid of the in and we get rid of the out. And all we have now is that. Look at it now. Just look at the node here. We can look at it, and all divide is now is there's no execution wire. It's literally just doing the thing and giving you the thing. I mean, it's literally just doing its math and giving you the thing, and you don't need to actually have it plugged into an execution wire. So guys, again, I mean, it can get really nasty. You can do so many cool things with functions and macros. So make sure you toy with things, keep yourself organized. You know, it's really awesome. Like I said, it's really helpful. And like I said, it looks good. I mean, it looks good. It keeps things looking good and makes you look professional. If you ever need to give your code to someone else, they can see all your stuff here, and they can see the names of all the things you did. And if you name everything precisely, like I don't, it's going to be a lot easier for people to read what you're doing. You know what I mean? But guys, thanks for watching. Love you, miss you. I know it's been like a week, and I apologize. I'm working really hard right now, and I got my guitar, and I love it, and I've been touching it in weird ways, and I'm going to keep touching it. But guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Josh here with DepriveD Productions. Thank you for 1,350 subscribers almost. We are rocking, and you guys are rocking, and we're going to be pumping out tutorials. I promise it's all coming. We're just catching up from the COVID crisis. We're getting our butts kicked right now from every angle. But guys, love you, miss you. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, DepriveD Productions. Hit us up on Facebook, DepriveD Productions. That's where you can message me for any type of questions or anything you need. Go check out our music. The links are all over the YouTube page. The links are all over the Facebook, SoundCloud, Bandcamp. Hit our music up. We got a couple EPs, free music, more free music coming, and another gaming. We got some gaming coming. I'll show you guys. We do that every once in a while just for fun. We got something else coming, so I'll show you that too, guys. All kinds of cool stuff coming, a new prototype, all kinds of fun stuff. And I promise as soon as we can, we will get back into the Minecraft series, guys. I promise we will. But we're just getting our butts kicked, bro. I'm balls deep. I'm balls deep, and I need y'all's help. You know what I mean? Seriously. But thanks, guys. Love you, miss you. Peace.